David, thank you. Well, Green Bay's police chief tonight defending the city's use of flock safety cameras for surveillance.
Flock is one of two vendors being used in Green Bay for this type of technology, and it comes amid controversy in both Appleton and Oshkosh over privacy concerns, leading to contracts for Flock ending. So we asked the chief to explain what's being done different here.
This map highlights some of the Flock cameras being used in Green Bay, with the police chief telling us there's 42 acting as automated license plate readers that continue to make a difference in solving crime.
That was part of our gun violence reduction strategy back in 2021 when we had a big problem with gun violence, because we know that the faster we can arrest a suspect in a gun crime, the faster we can get out in front of that retaliatory cycle and prevent who knows how many more shootings down the road.
The city also has a second vendor, Axon, which provides cameras for police vehicles. Flock's contract was recently renewed by the city for the next 5 years, but it also has protections in place to protect privacy.
You can't access the records unless you have some valid public safety reason for doing so, whether it's investigating a crime or maybe trying to find a missing person or something public safety related. And in the search template, when you go in the system and run a search, you have to specify what that reason is.
Data is also stored for 30 days and then deleted, unlike some communities where it's stored up to 2 years. The leader of the state's largest police union also saying the cameras are a valuable tool to offset staffing shortages in some communities.
This ALPR, automated license plate reader technology, really can be an effective force multiplier and help detect things when the agencies simply don't have the manpower and the personnel to be every single place.
Green Bay's chief says whatever data is collected is city property and won't be shared by the vendor without permission.
We possess data and information about people in this community that is much more sensitive and intrusive than what intersection on a public street their car went through at what time. We have body camera footage sometimes in people's homes of some of the worst moments of their lives. That comes with a tremendous responsibility on our part to make sure that we're keeping all of that sensitive data safe.
Both De Pere and Brown County also use Flock safety cameras in addition to Green Bay. Appleton, Oshkosh, and Sturgeon Bay are among the cities in northeast Wisconsin removing those cameras.